Hey, what's going on, Z Nation? Zaid here, ZSPN, and welcome to the Lakers post-game show on ZSPN on YouTube. And today, guys, we're going to be talking about the Los Angeles Lakers versus the New York Knicks tonight. Now, guys, before I get into the Lakers' surviving win in overtime against the New York Knicks, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, share my videos all over Facebook, Twitter, all the good social media stuff, and of course, like always, please make sure to like my page on Facebook, ZSPN, and also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at ZSPN. I really do appreciate the love and support you guys give me all across social media, and of course on this channel, ZSPN on YouTube. Much appreciated. So guys, let's talk about this win. I was so surprised about the turn of events from the Los Angeles Lakers when it comes all said and done. I mean, they competed in the second half. When it came to the first, I was going to go like crazy on this video when it comes down to the Lakers and their performance in the first half. And I was kind of, thinking, I think I speak for most Laker fans when it comes to the circumstances of the Lakers going into the rest of the game, that they were going to play the way they were going to play in the first half, in the second half. But surprisingly, they turned it around. And I had to say, Malik Monk, I don't care how it happens. I don't care what the Lakers need to do. They need to bring this guy back. And I think I speak for the majority of Laker fans when it comes down to my assumption here, when it comes to the Lakers bringing back Malik Monk. And, when it comes down to it, he deserves it. He deserves his money. I don't care how the Lakers need to do it, but they need to bring him back, whatever the cost is. And he helped out the Lakers big time in the second half, in the third quarter, turning the game around to the point that the Lakers led by, I believe, 4 or 6 points at that particular moment when they came back in a huge way in the third quarter, and they just continued on competing against the New York Knicks. With LeBron James' return, surprisingly, I was kind of hoping that that maybe the Lakers will keep him maybe until Tuesday's game against the Milwaukee Bucks. But he decided he wanted to play against the New York Knicks because he hasn't played against them yet. So obviously, when it comes down to it, he wanted to play tonight. And obviously, it's always great to see the King back on the Los Angeles Lakers after being gone for 5 straight games. And it's always great to see the King. And obviously, when it comes down to it, guys, the turn of events, it was just so surprising to see from this Lakers team. And when it comes down to it, they came to play. They came to play. They came to compete against the New York Knicks, and it worked out big time at the end of the day. And, when you look at the stat line, a great night for LeBron James return. I believe he had 29 points, or maybe it was like 30 points out there tonight. So he was sensational out there tonight when it comes down to it. And he averaged a double-double out there tonight. So great job out there for the Kings return. And then when you look at the rest of the Lakers out there, Malik Monk, obviously there's no question to be said here. I mean, he showed up big time when it came down to the wire, stepping up for the Lakers in a big way, and giving us, I believe, 27 or 28 points out there tonight. I mean, he was sensational out there tonight for the Los Angeles Lakers. With the scoring out there, I think he went like 6 of 8 out there for the Los Angeles Lakers. So he was sensational with those threes when it came down to the third quarter. But, it just continued on since, even going into the in overtime. We saw him score a bit for the Lakers. I think he made maybe a layup or a mid-range shot to just boost the Lakers lead a bit in overtime. But, the King, obviously controlled the game after that. And it's just, he was just sensational when it came down to it. So, and, bottom line, guys, like a broken record here. The Lakers have to do whatever it takes to bring him back. And he deserves to be part of the Lakers, roster for the long haul. I mean, he has been stepping up for the Lakers ever since. And, especially when it comes to him being inserted into the starting lineup. I mean, that's where he performs his best as a Los Angeles Lakers. So, with the new lineup, I had to also bring this up. I mean, when it comes down to it, the new lineup that Frank Vogel put together, I hope the Lakers stick with this new lineup for the rest of the season, because it's been working. And, having Stanley Johnson in the starting lineup, and, Malik Monk, and, Russell Westbrook. And I'll get to Russell Westbrook in a bit, because I'm about to go all out on Russell Westbrook's performance. But you also have Anthony Davis and LeBron James in the hold. So when it comes down to it, this new lineup that Frank Vogel put together, it really worked out at the end. So, and we had Avery Bradley being part of the second unit. It's just, obviously he hasn't been really producing as much for these past couple of games, but defensively, you always need to rely on Avery Bradley's defensive side, because he really brings it to the table when it comes down to it. So I'm not going to question, Avery Bradley's defensive prowess that he brings to the table, without a doubt. So, when it comes down to it, the new lineup, I have to say I'm loving it. And, if Frank Vogel, if anything, if he wants to, make sure to win games moving forward, you need to have Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Malik Monk in the lineup, especially, and, Stanley Johnson. He's been sensational for the Lakers ever since he signed with the Lakers. So when it comes down to it, he has to be the huge focal point of the starting lineup when it comes all said and done. And, Russell Westbrook as well. So when it comes down to it, the new lineup moving forward, I hope the Lakers stick with it, because it's been working. And especially with Malik Monk being part of the combination of, with Anthony Davis and LeBron, it's just been sensational. So I just had to put that out there. So, we've been noticing that when it comes to the new lineup and everything. So, great job for Frank Vogel putting that lineup together. But, when it comes to the rest of the Lakers starting lineup, I mean, Anthony Davis, he showed up big time out there tonight, obviously averaging a double-double out there. I think he had 26 points out there tonight, or maybe he's like 28 out there, with, I believe he had 10 or 12 rebounds. So he's been sensational ever since he returned from injury, averaging around like 28 to 30 points a game. So he's been sensational ever since. And, he's been carrying the load for the Lakers when LeBron was out due to injuries, dealing with that, the swellness in his right knee. So it's been working ever since for the Los Angeles Lakers, when it comes to, Anthony Davis stepping up for the Lakers ever since. So great job out there. A great performance from AD out there tonight. Russell Westbrook. Guys, I have to say, a poor performance for Russell Westbrook. It was bad out there for him. I mean, you went 1 of 10 from the field. I mean, that's the last time I checked the stat line when it came to the end of the fourth quarter. And I don't think he played in overtime, I believe. I don't think he did. But when it comes down to it, it didn't look good for Russell Westbrook out there. I mean, sure, he gave us like 6 rebounds and I think maybe 7 assists. I mean, he was facilitating the ball, but, when it comes to scoring, he had a bad scoring night. And when it came down to it, when it comes to him going to the field, it was bad out there for Russell Westbrook when it comes all said and done. And I'm not sure. He needs to turn his game around, possibly moving forward, and possibly maybe he will bounce back from this. But, it's in general, tonight, he had a bad game, bad performance for Russell Westbrook out there. And then you have Stanley Johnson, who, alongside Malik Monk really stepped up for the Lakers in the third quarter. He scored a couple of times, and he's just been very helpful on the defensive side when it comes all said and done for the Lakers ever since he signed with the Lakers. So when it comes down to it, Stanley Johnson really stepped up to the plate alongside Malik Monk in the third quarter. So we have to give him some props out there tonight for stepping up for the Lakers to help out LeBron and Anthony Davis. So great job out there for Stanley Johnson. And then when you look at the second unit, obviously the second unit are shorthanded due to Carmelo Anthony being out due to a hamstring injury. So, but the good news is it's not a serious injury, so he could potentially be a day-to-day type of scenario with the Los Angeles Lakers. So he could potentially return. I mean, the goal in mind that last time I saw was that Carmelo Anthony could return to the Lakers on Tuesday against the Milwaukee Bucks. So when it comes down to that, it's just that type of scenario where the second unit needs to step up and in a big way because due to Melo being out. So hopefully a speedy recovery for Melo because he's also a big focal point of the Lakers when it comes to the second unit, bringing that shooting, which has obviously been sensational for the Lakers ever since he signed with the Lakers in the offseason. So hopefully Melo comes back to us very soon, and the goal potentially is on Tuesday against the Milwaukee Bucks. But the second unit, Trevor Ariza, he stepped up out there for the second unit, carrying the load for the second unit. When it comes down to it, he needed to because of the circumstances. He really brought his A game, and I have to say on the defensive side also. So he's a 3-and-D type of player when it comes down to it, and we saw him a couple of times making shots in key situations. So when it came down to overtime, he made a shot that really helped the Lakers boost their lead. I believe it was like 2 minutes remaining into the game. So when it comes down to it, Trevor Ariza stepped up for the Lakers in a big way. So great job out there for Trevor Ariza. At the stage of his career, he really surprised us a couple of times. And, due to his age, it's not a surprise, guys. He is showing his age out there. He's old. So when it comes down to it, these key matchups and key games, when he plays like this, it kind of, brings a smile to most Laker fans when it comes to Trevor Ariza bringing his basketball skills to the plate. And I believe he had 11 points out there tonight. So a great night for Trevor Ariza, in his own right, for the second unit, stepping up for the second unit. And obviously when it comes to the rest, I mean, Austin Reeves had, I believe, 9 points out there, also helping out the second unit. And, most of the rest of them, THT, I believe he had 5 points, but, he hasn't been really playing that well anyway when it came to this game, other than maybe making a shot here and there. I believe one of them was in overtime where he extended the Lakers' lead by 4 points. But other than that, we saw a glimpse of him helping the Lakers out a bit, but it was not anything too game-changing. But we can make the argument that, in overtime where he made that shot, it was a game changer a bit, but, not anything too surprising there. But other than that, guys, it was a great game. It was a great game. The Lakers competed in the second half. The first half was trash. So obviously, when it comes down to it, the Lakers, stepped up to the plate, with Malik Monk, Stanley Johnson, and, obviously LeBron and Anthony Davis helping the Lakers out in the changing the scope of the game, actually, in the second half, in the third quarter. And it was just sensational on their part for them just to, give us great Lakers basketball when it comes down to it. And, getting a win against the New York Knicks was just something that the Lakers needed to achieve. It was a must-needed win when it comes down to it. So I was so glad that the Lakers capitalize on this opportunity, and they got a win over the New York Knicks, which the Knicks, they're no scrubs. I mean, they are a very good Eastern Conference team. So obviously, when it comes down to it, the Lakers, they stepped up to the plate. They battled. They competed in the second half, and it was just sensational. And guys, I have to say, if I had to pick an MVP of tonight's game, it's going to go to Malik Monk, because he was the game changer for the Lakers when it comes down to it, and it just changed the scope of the game. And with his shooting, alongside with Stanley Johnson, making a shot, and playing defense, being the 3-and-D type of guys, that is obviously a similar skill set to what Trevor Ariza is. So that's basically been the missing piece that the Lakers were missing in the beginning of the regular season. But I'm glad the Lakers signed him for the remainder of the season. So obviously it's been working wonders, and he's been sensational ever since as a Los Angeles Lakers. So but having the return of LeBron James was also a big deal. Just him being LeBron James, it was just also a big help for the Lakers when it comes to him returning. Surprisingly, I thought he was going to be out for this game, to be honest with you. But obviously, just seeing him return to the Lakers, it's always great to see LeBron return to the from injury, playing in Lakers games, because obviously when he's on the floor, the Lakers win games when it comes all said and done. So it was a great game. And guys, I really want to know your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and please give me your thoughts about the Lakers win, surviving this win against the New York Knicks in overtime. Who do you think really stepped up in your eyes? Was it Malik Monk, maybe Stanley Johnson? Maybe it was, the return of LeBron James, or maybe it was Anthony Davis. I mean, there was just a lot of scenarios where some of the Lakers out there tonight really changed the scope of this game, and for the better for the Lakers to get this win. And I have to say, it was Malik Monk, in my opinion, with the combination of Stanley Johnson, LeBron, and Anthony Davis. But Malik Monk was the guy that really turned the game around. And I said it once, and I'm saying it again. Rob Pelinka, if you're hearing this, you have to do whatever it takes to bring back Malik Monk, because he was a huge game changer for the Lakers when it comes to shooting, and he's been stepping up ever since when it comes to him being inserted into the starting lineup and just giving that shooting ability that we've been lacking. Even though Carmelo Anthony has been the scorer and the shooter for the Lakers, that was a huge positive when it comes down to it. But obviously, when it comes all said and done, he was just great out there. And guys, I was just looking at the stats just when I was recording this right now. LeBron James averaged a triple-double, so I just have to put that out there. I kind of misspoke. I think I mentioned that he averaged a double-double, but he actually averaged a triple-double out there tonight. So this is the king. Long live the king out there. I mean, he balled out there. So I just had to put that out there, and I have to say, what a great performance from LeBron and the rest of the Lakers out there tonight. And hopefully we can see this type of, motivation, effort from the Lakers moving forward, because, we need to win games, guys. We have to, because, if the Lakers want to have any sort of chance for a playoff run, or just being, competitive in the playoffs, they need to, start to win games and play against certain teams that are winnable. So hopefully the Lakers, with this win, starts to turn things around moving forward. So that's crossing our fingers there. So hopefully that changes moving forward. So guys, please comment down below, like, subscribe to the channel, and guys, please make sure to like all of my social media sites: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at ZSPN. And, guys, I really do appreciate the love and support you guys give me all across social media, and, of course, on this channel, ZSPN on YouTube, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Go Lakers. Take it easy, guys. Stay safe out there.